Welcome back to Popcorn and Pals, the podcast where we talk about all sorts of movies, good and bad, and we give you our completely unqualified takes on them. He's Zach and I'm Justin, and today we're talking about the 1997 noir crime thriller that'll make you want to solve a murder. It's LA Confidential. But before we dive in, Zachary, do you want to kick us off with your plot summary?
Yeah, definitely. This one was easy. The plot was like straightforward, not a lot going on in this movie. Very simple movie, Didn't have to pay attention too hard. Super simple. So, pretty sure I got my plot narrowed in.
Good. You make me feel better because I had thoughts and that was one of them for sure.
All right. In Los Angeles, a city with a seedy underbelly and celebrity lookalike sex workers, three rival police detectives, a weaselly know-it-all, a grumpy brute, and a future alleged sex offender must put aside their differences to solve a murder and take down a corrupt police chief.
Bravo. That was really well done. I like
Thanks.
I like the Kevin Spacey aspect of it.
What? I didn't know. How do you know how do you know who I'm talking about?
Yeah, that was
We'll
really
get to age
good.
the worst,
Oh God, yeah. There's I feel it's such an easy target. I almost didn't put that on here. We're getting too far ahead of ourselves here.
Yeah,
But
no doubt.
yes, we will get to age the worst for sure.
All right, before we jump into the movie and stuff though. So you recommended I read Dungeon Crawler Carl.
Yeah.
Dude, all the buildings have collapsed in my city. Bourne Corporation is setting up his dungeon. I'm running into the first level right now. I am all in. The book
You're
is
going.
great.
It's awesome, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's
No, I'm having a good time.
Yeah, I feel like that's all it boils down to. It's like it's just fun to read. It's hard to put it
Mhm.
down. The way that he writes it's so much fun. I
Yeah.
just I just finished the Butcher's Masquerade, which is book 5, and I'm about to start book 6, and then there's 7, and then 8 comes out in May. So, if you can get caught up, we can be book buddies.
There you go. So, my brother, I went out to have dinner with him so my parents have been here all week and they were
Mm.
staying at my brother's. So we went out to dinner with them several times over the week. And Rick was like, dude, I got a book for you. He's like, Dungeon Crawler Carl. And I'm like, I'm already 100 pages in. He's like, damn it. I thought I was going to show you something.
You know,
I'm
I
like,
actually
Justin beats you by like a day and a half.
I told Hannah about this because, well, not that specific thing. All right. When we were in college, for some strange reason, me and Rick both got in. Rick is Zachary's brother, for anybody that doesn't know. We got into reading Game of Thrones because that was right before HBO came out with the first season of Game of Thrones. And we read those books in tandem. And we had like the most fun reading them and like getting super hyped for the first season and then hyped for the second season, all the things. It was a lot of
And the
fun.
sixth season after you read the sixth book.
Yeah, exactly. And then it fizzled out because George R. R. Martin sucks and he's just gonna die.
In George's defense, like he's got there's nothing positive can happen to him anymore, right? Like no matter how he writes those other books.
I
So
think
in
he
George R.
knows
R.
it.
Martin's defense, yeah,
That's how he knows it too. You can't punch your way out of
he's
this
like in a
bag.
lose-lose. Yeah,
It
he's in a
is, yeah.
lose-lose. So
It can
I
never.
think he's just like, I give up.
Yeah, exactly. He's just waiting for the sweet embrace of death, and then we'll all
Yeah,
be put out of our misery.
yeah. He'll let some ghostwriter finish it for him after his death.
I hope so. But
Yeah.
Dungeon Crawler Carl, I can't remember if we talked about this the other night, but I think I read somewhere. I think Seth MacFarlane he is
Mhm.
involved in. I don't know what they're making. I don't know if it's a show. I don't know if it's a movie. I don't know if it's animated like Family Guy or if it's going to be live action, but he is involved in some capacity. We'll see.
I loved Family Guy when I was like, 13, right? Like that's what it's made for.
Yeah.
Um, but he had a show called The Orville. Did you ever
Oh
watch it?
yeah. Well, I never watched
Yeah.
it. I remember it though.
Yeah. And like as you know, I'm like a huge Star Trek fan. That's like
Mm,
probably my number one fandom out of everything.
mhm.
And uh and like honestly, New Trek is bleh, it's fine. Strange New Worlds, good, right? But I
Yeah.
felt like the Orville, he actually did a really good job of like kind of putting in his humor, his kind of absurdism humor
Mm,
with a more dramatic plot, especially as the seasons got going. I actually thought it was a really, really good show and kind of filled the Star Trek void even when Real Trek was not doing that for me.
mm,
So no, I'm excited. I feel like he's a very competent and creative person. I
yeah,
think some of the adolescent humor that he brings to some of his projects, a lot of people like dog on, and
mm,
I get, but I also see a side of him that's more interesting. And I think he's as he gets older, he wants to do more of that stuff too.
yeah.
So I
Well,
don't I
and
think it's not a bad choice. It's better than like giving it to oh, I don't know, like
J.J. Abrams.
yeah, JJ exactly, right? Like
Yeah. No, when I
do
saw
something more unique.
Seth MacFarlane attached to it, uh, I was like, I don't know about it, but it makes sense because there is a level of humor in Dungeon Crawler Carl in the entire series. I was like, yeah, you need to have somebody who can tell the humor aspects of it. But
Mhm.
yeah, if you keep going with it, I will say this: it's like the rare instance where I feel like each book gets better and better and better. That somehow he like outdoes himself every single time. Um, so they're really fun. If anybody listening has not checked out Dungeon Crawler Carl, they're really fun. Highly suggest
Mm.
it.
It's a tongue twister of a name. I struggle with it, but I struggle with a lot of words, so,
It
but
is the subsequent books. They all have their Dungeon Crawler Carl series, but they all have their own unique, like
yeah.
Carl's Doomsday Scenario and all of that stuff. So they're easier to say. But yes, you are exactly right. Carl and Donut. There you go. Yeah.
Alright, so let's jump into, um, our conversation about LA Confidential. First, let's just set some stuff up. So, podcast structure, we're gonna have a quick chat. Um, we're gonna talk about some of our initial notes. We'll then go into our superlatives, and then finally, we will end whether we think this is a classic or not. I don't know where you're gonna land on that, so I'm very curious because I'm like, I'm not even sure where I land on it yet,
Oh,
to be honest.
well, I'll make my
You have your
standpoint
case?
known. Yes.
Okay, good.
Yes, I do.
I am waiting for the episode where one of us loves the movie and one of us hates it. I cannot wait for that episode. I don't know
Yeah,
if it's LA Confidential yet, but,
it might. I don't
um
know.
and then let's do a real plot summary. Now,
Mm.
again, this plot is so complicated. Like, it's so complicated. I think and the reason it's complicated is just there's a lot of deception happening, right,
Mm,
throughout the movie, and so if you cut out the deception of it, the plot's actually pretty simple. You're introduced to 3 cops, and I'm gonna be honest with you, the names did not stick with me, but the actors are so famous, in my mind, I just, like, call them, like, okay, there's Russell Crowe, Kevin Spacey, and Guy Pearce.
yeah, yeah.
But, like, they're 3 cops, each one's got very, I think, distinct personality types, and they're kind of at odds with each other, all of them, in some way or
Mhm,
fashion.
mhm,
Um, there's an inciting murder that really starts the plot moving forward. Another cop is killed in that murder. It's kind of like a mass murder, and really, it's about the 3 of them kind of solving this crime first individually because they're kind of at odds with each other, but they all have their own skill sets and they all kind of work through it together. And eventually, they it's like every superhero movie these days, right? First they're enemies and then they punch for a bit and then they're friends, you know? They
Yeah,
become friends along the way. Some are murdered, some are not, and they discover, spoiler alert for a movie that was, 30 years old now almost, um, that the police chief is kind of behind the whole thing and he's trying to run a crime organization through the police department. I have some nitpicks about his organization, but he runs a crime organization and they uncover it, the 3 cops, and put a stop to it. So I think
yeah,
that's the summary of the movie. You notice how
yeah.
I left out Kim Basinger's part? I don't know why she's in the movie,
That's a great
but
point. Yeah,
but
yeah,
we'll get to that later too.
yeah. That's a great point. I have a great plot summary too, because 'cause you're right. It was a tough all right, I know it was a book from,
Mhm,
like, what, 7 years prior or something? I read that they trimmed some stuff down and all the things, but yeah, there's a lot going on, so it's kind of a lot to keep up with, but very, very well done on your
mhm.
plot. synopsis. Good job, Zachary.
So, I don't know. I was like, this one, I'm like, I don't know how am I gonna talk about this? Like, I can't go through it scene by scene because it's like what it takes to get every point. But I'm like,
Well,
you know what? It's just them solving a murder. They're not friends. They are friends. They figure out it's the chief. Boom,
yeah.
movie's over.
Like, the whole first half I would say, like, what? The first half of the movie, you were following 3 separate storylines between Bud, Exley, and Vincennes. So,
Yeah, yeah.
it's not until you kinda get to, like, the middle, even, like, a little bit after the middle of the movie where you start to see some of those storylines converge more, but, yeah,
Mhm.
there's just a lot going on. It's, from a plot summary standpoint, it's kinda tough to drill it down into simple description, but
Yeah, I
very
definitely, afterwards, like, I feel like I had a good grasp of it at the end. It comes together well at the end.
Mhm.
But I was like, I'm gonna go watch some YouTube videos that kind of like, ending explained, LA
Mhm.
Confidential kind of thing, just to be like, okay, did I really understand this? Because
Yeah.
it is a complicated movie.
Yeah, it is.
Um, so this is our first crime thriller.
Mhm.
How are you about like, what are your thoughts on crime thriller movies,
Oh, I
crime
love
movies?
them. I love them. Like, one and not a movie per se, but one of my favorite shows is True Detective season 1. I mean,
Mhm.
like, the crime thriller genre is so fun. It's kind of like, I love, like, the Sherlock Holmes movies and, like, aspect of, like, learning alongside characters, and you feel like you're picking up pieces of evidence as they are learning it. I love that style of storytelling. It's really fun.
Are there any crime thrillers? I know you mentioned True Detective, which I think is
Mhm.
a high bar for a lot of other people. Is there any other movies in particular that you're like a big fan of in this genre?
Trying to think.
Like, what about like
Like
Seven?
yeah, oh,
Or
yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. 7. I was trying to think, like, specifically related to this, like the Hollywood
the
noir,
noir?
like, Black Dahlia was a good one, Zodiac,
Mhm.
which Zodiac's later, but,
It's
like,
still a
those
great
were
movie. Zodiac's
oh, yeah.
awesome. Yeah,
Yeah, they're
I
a little
love
bit
that movie.
long-winded, but, yeah, there's
Spoiler alert, I think
so
Zodiac is better than this movie, but that's just me.
yeah. Yeah, I agree with you on that. I mean, like, I feel like the classic crime thriller, murder mystery is so much fun. Oh my god, don't even get me started on Knives Out. Love Knives Out.
Yeah, no,
Um,
that's a great one, Knives Out. Those are kind
yeah,
of more,
there's more modern, but
or and they're like, what's the word? Not friendlier, but they're kind of lighthearted. Yeah.
they're more entertaining, less serious,
Yeah.
and
Mhm.
more like, fun.
Yeah, this
Um,
movie is very self-serious in a lot of ways. It
yeah, it
has its
is.
moments, but
It does, yeah. But yeah, there's tons of them out there, and I feel like, uh I don't know. Yeah, this one I can't wait to break it down because I definitely have some thoughts on it, but
yeah.
what I mean, what like, I know
Are
this
you a
was
Oh, good, sorry.
this was my first time seeing it. This
Yeah,
is
mine too.
you hadn't seen it.
Mhm.
Okay.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. So
No.
what were your initial thoughts?
Well, I was gonna ask too, are you a true crime guy at all? Like,
Like,
true crime
actual crime?
podcasts? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Love a good, like,
I
crime
was like, I feel like
documentary
this
too.
itches kinda that, like, spot, as well.
Mhm.
Like, I could
Mhm.
see my wife really liking this movie. She loves all that true crime stuff.
Sure. Yeah. Like, I feel like that's like 90% of the things that we watch together are usually some type of true crime documentary on Netflix.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I was a big true crime guy. Like, I loved all the podcasts and Serial and My Favorite Murder and all
Mm,
that stuff. And I do feel like I got a little tired of it, you
yeah.
know,
Well, like, it's very
as I got older.
yeah, well, it does. I feel like you kinda okay, I put true crime almost in a similar category as horror movies for me. I think if you for me personally, if I watch too many horror movies, I really start to not like them, but if I watch, like, one scary movie, like, every blue moon, I'm like, "Oh, man, I love it." Kinda get my heart rate up a little bit, but I can't watch them a whole lot, and I feel like I do the same thing with true crime. After a while, it's like you
Yeah.
can only solve so many murder mysteries before they all kinda start like, melding together.
That's how I agree with you 100%. Like, horror is such a great analogy for that because it is. It's like when horror's good and you hit it at the right moment, it's like some of my favorite movies are horror movies. Like, I remember, like, watching Conjuring for the first time
Oh, yeah.
or, The Haunting at Hill House, that Netflix series. Like,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
watched that
yeah.
for the first time, I was like, "That was incredible."
Mhm.
And, you know scary but incredible. And I feel like that's the same way with true crime. You get like a story that hooks you. The first time I listened to Serial, and I was like, I was this those people who had all the opinions about what was going on. That's all I could talk about was like, okay, what's going on with Serial? Who do you think? What do you think? You know,
Yeah.
it really does like it puts you in the driver's seat of like solving a crime. Some these type of movies, and
Mhm.
so you get to kind of be part of the action.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. It's really
Yeah.
fun. I mean, like, I yeah. Going back to your comment about horror movies, we could have a whole separate conversation about it, but I think horror
Yeah.
movies
We'll
I
get
think
some horror movies on this podcast for sure.
horror, that genre is like, I don't know. It is the most untapped genre in my opinion. It's flooded with just crap and like
Yeah, so it's like 90% garbage
yeah,
and like
but
10% brilliant.
like I think Mike Flanagan, I know we're going off on
Yeah.
a tangent. I'm sorry. It's just fun to talk about. But Mike Flanagan, he is I feel like if that dude can just make more, but I feel like 90% of the stuff that he pumps out is really good, really
Yeah,
decent.
dude, like, I just told you Haunting a Hill House. I was like,
Yeah.
I mean, I could go on a Mike Flanagan gushing
Mid
session.
Midnight Mass. I
Midnight
love
Mass
Midnight
was
Mass.
incredible. Did
Mhm.
you ever see the Shining sequel that he did?
Yeah. Oh, crap, yeah, with Ewan McGregor.
Yes.
What is it called, though? I did see it, I just forgot the name, but
Oh, yeah. This is what podcast editing is all about.
which, like yeah, I feel like I would love to have more horror stuff out there, but I feel like there has been even, like, over the last 5
Doctor
years
Sleep.
Yes, Doctor Sleep.
Sorry. That
Even,
was gonna
like,
bug
over
me.
even over the last 5 years, there has been, like, really, really good scary movies that have come out, but
Mhm.
anyway, neither here nor there. We could talk,
Alright.
days about horror movies. Let's talk about
Alright,
LA
crime thrillers, LA
Confidential.
Confidential, let's go back. Maybe we should here, let's just pause right now, we're gonna watch a horror movie, we'll switch
Yeah.
gears, right?
You know what? I don't even wanna talk about LA Confidential. Let's talk about Midnight Mass real fast.
No, to get back to LA Confidential, I thought it was good. I thought it was a good
Mhm.
movie.
Yeah.
Very competently made, really well acted, I thought.
Mhm.
And you look at even a lot of those, actors like Guy Pearce and Russell Crowe, it was like one of their first, like, big movies,
Yeah.
and, like, just, like, the casting director that pulled these people out of their butt, right? Like,
Mm.
what a find on all of them, I think.
Yeah.
Even the, like, kinda character actor guys like James Cromwell and things like that, they're Danny DeVito was there. I mean, like, it's a stellar cast. Um, the story's interesting. It's
Mm.
there's some good twists and turns. It's a fun movie, I thought.
Yeah.
How about you?
I think okay, I know this is not how anybody should go into watching a movie, but I feel like with in this specific scenario, I'd never seen it. I had always heard LA Confidential is just amazing. It's an
Mhm.
amazing one of the best movies of all time. If
Yeah,
you
if
do
you're looking at
any
Rotten Tomatoes, it's, like, better than The Godfather.
apparently, it's the best movie ever made. Um, so when you go into it with the expectation of like, "Holy shit, this is gonna be one of the, like, top 5 movies of all time," I think I was just disappointed. Like, I wholeheartedly agree with you. The acting, I never had a single problem with the acting in this movie. I thought Guy Pearce was phenomenal. I could watch Guy Pearce just read
No,
the
you and me
newspaper, and
both
I would
love
be
love
yeah,
Guy. He's, like, the
I
most underutilized one of the most underutilized actors in Hollywood. I
yeah,
love him.
he is. He was phenomenal. Russell Crowe was phenomenal. Creepy Spacey, we'll give it to him. I mean, like, for all of his faults as a human being, he was great in the
Dude,
movie,
no, the
and
dude is incredible. It's like
yeah.
it's so frustrating that he's such a skis. And like I said, we'll get into it. But, like, I mean, he's such a good actor.
He is.
He's like, "Was one of my favorite parts of this movie," and I'm like, "Son of a bitch."
Yeah. But, like, the acting was phenomenal. I
Yeah.
will give it that. But I think there was just so much that irked me about it, and, like, okay, I have an
Mhm,
analogy here, but okay, like, from several of the things that I have pointed out, like, there was just some bad writing in spots. I put down
mhm.
there were some plot holes, some nonsensical character turns and motivations. There were more subplots, leads, suspect names that ha I would have to have an encyclopedia open alongside this movie to keep track of everything. It felt like one of those you pointed it out. I think I would have to watch it multiple times to fully understand everything that's going on. What it felt like was I know it was a book. I know they trimmed things down, and I think maybe some of that stuff got lost in translation, at least for me. I likened it to, like, Ready Player One. If you've ever read Ready Player One, the book, phenomenal book. When they tried to trim it down and, like, condense it all into a movie, it was still really fun, it was good, but you lost so much of the other things that contributed to the main driving plot line, and
Yeah.
I think this is also a great example. I wanna call this out specifically for anybody listening as to why I'm not a film expert because clearly I'm in the minority on this. That, like, this is one of the best reviewed movies I think I've ever seen. Roger Ebert gave it a perfect score, 4 out of 4. Time Magazine gave it Movie of the Year over Titanic. I mean, it's
Yeah,
I
we'll get
think
to the 1997 movies 'cause
yeah,
I'll talk about that. We'll get there in a minute.
I think it has like a 99% on Rotten Tomatoes. I mean, it's just
Mhm.
absurd that the level of, like, positivity surrounding this movie, and I see it, it wasn't for me. I think in short, it wasn't for me.
So, my positive review, which I said it's okay, right?
Mhm,
Like, it's okay. Definitely, but my positive review of this movie is really based on the last, like, half, the second half of the movie more. Like, I
mm,
feel like the movie's very slow to start, and this is one of my like, one thing I struggle with in movies is when your characters aren't likable, I do not get
mhm.
invested. And so
Yeah.
which is like, maybe that makes me, like, less critical thinker or whatever, but, like, I like my characters to have, like to be redeemable, and I feel like all the characters get there, but for the
Mhm,
first half of this movie and, like, I love Guy Pearce, you and I talk about it all the time. The dude sucked in the first 30 minutes of this movie
mm,
as, like, just, like, the way he handled himself in situations, and whether you think he's right or wrong when he's turning in those cops or he's, trying to break up a brawl or whatever he's doing, but he's just, like, he's kinda sniveling, right?
yeah,
Like
yeah,
and then same with, Russell Crowe's character, Bud. Like, dude's just first we first get introduced to him, he's beating up a wife beater, right?
yeah,
But he just, like, goes in there and just, like I'm like, "You can't convict that guy now, you just beat the shit out of him, dude.
yeah,
Like, you're a bad cop." You
yeah,
know?
yeah,
And,
yeah,
like, same with Kevin Spacey, he's so egocentric and, like, he eventually gets there, he starts to realize, "Okay, I made some mistakes." He's actually competent as a police officer, like, all the characters get there and they start learning from their experiences, but you start with them in, like, these unlikable characters,
yeah,
and it took me
uh,
an hour into this movie to get going for me.
yeah. Oh, you took one of my points. I feel like okay, I know one of the main driving points of this movie is that it highlights the corruption within the police department, right?
Mm.
But ultimately, all of these guys are trying, they all have the same goal. They're trying to solve this murder. But when all of them are just terrible people, it really gets hard to get behind any of them. I felt like Exley was the only one that I could really root for because he felt like the one character that was doing it for the right reasons and he was doing
Mhm.
it the right way. Whereas the rest of them are literally murdering people, hitting women, like, exploiting yeah, we'll get into it, but it's tough to try to rally behind characters that are
Yeah.
not great
I felt
and
like
root for them.
even Guy Pearce Exley was still like he's like, "Okay, I'll do the right thing here," but
Mhm.
also, like, I wanna make sure I'm getting the accolades for it, I want to get promotions, like, he's, like, playing
Yeah.
the game the whole time, he's like, I gotta be successful," even though, like, I'm coming at it from the right place, or at least, from a police corruption perspective, he's coming at it
Mhm.
from, like, the most honest way to be a police officer, he's still like, "Yeah, but, like, I deserve something, right?"
Yeah,
You know?
exactly. Yeah,
Yeah,
the whole first pitch came along with, the extra ticket of like, "Here's my idea to save face from the public from the bloody Christmas ordeal, but, like, I need a big promotion
yeah,
along with that." So, I mean, yeah, even Exley has, like, his flaws, but oh, yeah, we'll dive
yeah.
into it.
He's better than most, there's no doubt, but
Yeah, but it's a great point. It's a great point that it's, yeah, they're all fairly terrible in their own sense.
Did you have a favorite pairing? Because I feel like the movie's, like, all about these pairings throughout it. Did you
Yeah,
have a favorite pairing?
Exley and the short-lived pairing of him and Vincennes because yeah, they were amicable towards each other. Like, Exley, I felt Exley was a little Dudley Do-Good for the majority of the first half of the movie, but he caught so much flack from people, and Vincennes was kind of like the first one that I felt like he I don't know, he really saw him as an equal and like, "Let's go solve this together. You help me and I'll help you, and we will achieve our goals." Um I don't know. I wanted to like Bud, but Bud was such he's just a loose cannon that he doesn't work well with anybody except for his shitty Stens. What the f was his name? Stens? That was the only guy that he worked well with, and he was also a pretty big piece of shit, but I don't know, man.
He works
Yeah.
well with the police chief when he's beating up guys for him, you know?
Yeah, yeah,
He's a
when he
good
was
look out of town.
his
As
little
an enforcer.
torture his torturer. Yeah.
Yeah. They worked well, they were good pairing, you know, those 2?
Yeah, yeah. Dudley and his Irish accent, that was a good pairing.
I don't
Don't get me started, I've got a whole line on that one.
I was like, "Why? Why? Why
Yeah,
is this a
that's
thing?" Anyway, I feel like
that's
too, it doesn't even, like, start until, like, a third of the way through the movie. I'm like, "Wait, is he
well,
with an Irish accent?" At some point, I was like,
yeah.
"There's a couple weird words he's saying in there."
You know what? Let's do things differently. We're just gonna take a little pinky toe dip into the nitpick pool right out of the
Okay.
gate. Dudley's accent. He's an American actor.
Yeah.
What's his name? James
Jonathan
Cromwell.
Cromwell. Oh, James
Yeah,
Cromwell,
yeah, yeah.
not Jonathan
Yeah,
Cromwell.
yeah.
James Cromwell, yeah.
Right? We've all seen him. We
Yeah.
know him, right?
He's
Like,
been in
he's not
1,000 things.
Yeah. I don't know if his character in the book was supposed to have an Irish accent. I don't think it was ever explained in the movie. But yeah, halfway through, I was like, why is he speaking with an Irish accent? And then,
Maybe maybe it's because it's the '50s, and so it's earlier in US history, so there's more immigration, but, like, we're past, like, the 1920s, you know, like, Ellis Island shit, so I'm like, "Well, where is this coming from? Why is he Irish?
what I thought was really
What's the
funny.
point of that?"
No, exactly. It serves no point, and it sticks out like a sore thumb because nobody else has an accent in this movie. Not even like a
I'm not even
thick.
sure he does all the time.
Yeah, it kinda just pops up. It's almost like after they started shooting the first scenes, he was like, "Hey, it'd be kinda cool if I did an Irish accent, right?" And then he gets more hammed
Right.
up throughout the movie because towards the end,
Uh,
he starts throwing out the boyos. "Hey, boyo."
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then I was like, "Come on, man. What are we doing here?" That was one of my big nitpicks is why does he have an Irish accent? What is the purpose of this?
Um I totally agree.
Uh,
Alright, I think we touched on it. I don't and do you have any more thoughts on the movie
no, 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 no,
before we
no.
jump into the categories?
Yeah, we can get into
So,
our
we
categories.
touched on it. 1997, the
Mm,
movie year, like, just
this
incredible.
stacked.
Stacked. I was looking at even the Oscars, like, there's 5 movies this was when it was a 5-movie category. The movies
Mhm.
are Titanic. Have you
Mm.
heard of it?
Yeah.
Good Will Hunting. Is that new is that a little indie
Yeah.
flick? LA Confidential, As Good as It Gets, which it's okay. I don't know if you've ever seen it. It's a,
Mhm.
um,
It's Jack
uh,
Nicholson, right?
Jack Nicholson. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
And then The Full Monty, which
Mm,
I've only ever seen, like, clips on YouTube for The Full
mhm.
Monty. I don't know. It looks like a silly movie. I'm sure it's good,
Yeah,
but, yeah, it looks kinda fun.
yeah.
Like, just stack here. Other movies, I was looking at, like, top 100 movies in '97. Other movies that are not on this list, Fifth Element.
Mhm.
You know, when you're 7 years old, that movie was ripped. Um, Men in Black,
Oh, yeah.
Boogie Nights, which should probably have kicked off Full Monty and been in the, uh, but, same with Jackie Brown. Like, honestly, that probably get kicked out
Yeah.
As Good as It Gets.
Yeah, yeah.
Life is
I
Beautiful. Have
went
you ever seen that movie? It's a Roberto
no.
Benigni movie. It's really good. It's
Mm-mm.
about World War II. It's super sad,
No.
but I'm sorry, I didn't mean to
Gattaca?
cut you off there.
No, I had Gattaca down. Great Ethan Hawke. I
Yeah, I
mean,
love
our
Gattaca.
one of our favorites, Starship Troopers, duh.
Yeah.
Um, which we'll talk about that later on, but
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, like, they were outside of you know, the generational movies, 1997 was like you said, Men in Black, like, I feel like I saw, like, Flubber on there or something. Several movies, like Hercules, Disney, so many movies that came out this year, uh, that it was is just a huge year. I think that's what really
Yeah.
struck me is seeing so many outlets rave over LA Confidential and seeing Time Magazine gave it Movie of the Year. Don't get me wrong, I'm not, like, the biggest Titanic advocate. I love Titanic, it's great.
Yeah.
I don't think it's the best movie ever made, but you're not gonna beat Titanic, not on its home playing field in the same year of 1997.
Yeah, you watch this movie, and I know it's a period piece or whatever, and there are parts that do feel very modern. Like, I don't know what it is about Kurt Russell in this movie. Maybe because he's so young in it.
Russell Crowe?
Kurt Russell, yeah, sorry, God, I wrote him down when I was in my notes, I wrote down Kurt Russell so many times, so I'm
Russell.
gonna mess that up, I know I am. No, Russell Crowe. He's so young in this movie, and he's only like 2 years away from Gladiator, which in Gladiator feels like a decade and a half
Oh my
after this
god,
movie.
yeah, that feels like an entirely different era. I
But,
mean, and it really was
that's
not
the
that far off.
I think, like, going through this list, that's the thing about this movie, watching it, is it
Mhm.
doesn't feel like the others. Like, it doesn't feel like it feels like a movie from, like, 95 or 94 or 92, right? Like an
Yeah.
early '90s movie. You watch Titanic, I mean, maybe because it's just been in our pop culture for so long, and it feels so much more modern than this movie. Men in Black
Mhm.
feels so much more modern than this movie. Hell, Con Air comes out this year. I love Con Air. Like,
Great movie.
the pacing and the action in that movie feels so much more modern,
Mhm.
and it's really like this heightened legacy movie, I feel like. Like, it's taking all the victories and spoils of the first half of the '90s and making a movie, with those tools when everyone else was making the next generation, I
Yeah.
feel like, when I'm looking
Yeah.
at these movies this year.
Yeah, that's a great point. I feel like this movie, if you would have told me this movie came out in the early '90s, I would have said, "Oh yeah, absolutely, I believe it." But yeah, when you start comparing it to other things that came out the same exact year, it's like a different era of filmmaking.
Yeah,
It feels antiquated. It feels older compared to stuff that was pushing the limits of what was possible. But
yeah,
also too, like I think, and again, not comparison is the thief of joy. But when I think about, certain scenes in Titanic that, get your heart rate up and you're like, "Oh my god, are they gonna get out of this?" or whatever, I never felt that at any scene with LA Confidential, and I
yeah.
don't know if that
I
was
think I have, like, one we'll get to best scenes. I have
mm,
one where I think it's like, okay, this elevates the movie.
mhm,
But everything else was, like, pretty, like, "Wow, the plot's good, the twists are good," or whatever, I don't know, I mean, honestly, I saw the cop corrupt chief thing a million miles away,
mm.
but, he, like, opens up with being, like, the world's most corrupt cop, so, "Well, you gotta beat people and kill them and shove needles in their eyes," or whatever he says, and I'm like, "Okay, this guy's corrupt." He's like, "You're just too good, you gotta make sure snort cocaine and and kill all the kill the lackeys," I'm like, "What are you talking about?"
It's like the worse stuff he does, the worse his accent starts to seep in. The more evil he gets, the worse he starts to talk.
No, for sure. That was one of my notes. I'm like, "When did you know he was corrupt?" Because I was like, I felt like,
From the
"This
get-go.
guy's not gonna be good news."
Well, let's get into it. Why don't you
Yeah,
talk about
let's
our
start.
categories? Because I wanna hear what that scene was. Because yeah, I wanna hear what scenes you enjoyed out of this.
Okay. Alright, so our categories are best scene, best character, age the best, age the worst. What are they talking about? What the fuck are they talking about? WTF. Um, what would be a good sequel? What would happen the next day kinda thing, and then last, we'll do hot takes and nitpicks.
Mm,
So let's start off with best scene. You wanna go
yeah.
first?
No, you kick it off. You were just talking about one of your favorite scenes that got the tension up.
Okay. So this is a kind of a cheating scene because I think it does take 2 scenes to make it work.
Mhm,
But it's when, um, Kevin Spacey goes over to the chief's house and, says like, "Hey, you were the presiding officer on the murder
mm,
case from back then. You know, just wanted to get your opinions. He's like, "Have you told anyone?" Turns around, shoots Kevin Spacey, kills him. Then he says, "Rolo Tomasi."
Oh, yeah.
And then the next scene, they're at the police station, like telling everyone, "Go out and find who killed this guy," right? Who killed Kevin Spacey? And then he asks Guy Pearce, "Who is? Have you heard the name Rolo Tomasi?" And it's like, like a aha moment, like, "Oh no, you were the one who killed." Like,
Yeah.
I thought those two pairings and kind of
Mhm.
the use of that narrative device of the fake name
Mhm.
to tip people off, like very clever on the writing, very clever for, in the story for Kevin Spacey's character to say that as he's dying, to like kind of throw that seed out there in his
Mhm.
last breath. Like I thought that was a kind of a more modern, interesting scene structure, writing technique, kind of reveal.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree. I do. I give it that. That whole tie-in was really, really well
Yeah.
done. I would love to know, like, I not that I would ever take the time to sit down and read the book, but I would love to know if that's taken from the book or if that was I would assume it is because that feels like a really big, like, narrative piece to help tip the, Exley's hat towards Dudley as the bad guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say though, the name is ridiculous.
Which one?
Rolo
Exley?
Tom no,
Oh,
Rolo
Rolo.
Tomassi. He's like,
Yeah.
"Have you heard of Rolo?" I don't think anyone's named Rolo.
Yeah. Also, I mean, like, yeah, that's you do wanna talk about a Hail Mary on
Yeah, right.
Vincennes' part. Let me throw out this name and just hope that you happen to bring it up to the one dude who
Yeah.
might know what it means.
I do wonder because, like, what if okay, so maybe this is, like, a nitpick, but he brings it up to Exley, right? To your point, only person he brings it up to. What if he was just, like, going ham in the office, bringing it up to everybody, and then someone else comes up to Exley, and Exley's like, "This guy killed him," you know?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Special agent,
It's
Bud what if Bud White brought it up? What if he told Bud first, and then Bud
it's
asked
totally
him?
plausible. Yeah, absolutely. It could've.
Could've just been firing it out everywhere.
You could put up a memo on the front door. "Have you seen Rollo Tomasi?" Oh.
Anyways.
I okay, so my favorite scenes are well, I guess mine were also kind of like a collection. So, spoiler alert, I think my favorite character was Exley, really
Okay.
just because it was Guy Pearce. If Russell Crowe played Exley, I probably wouldn't have liked him. I probably would have just liked whoever Guy Pearce played the most. Um, but I think my 2 favorite scenes are early on in the beginning, because Exley establishes himself as this extremely intelligent, like, tactician of, like, a detective. So he pitches to the police chief on, like, what they can do to save face about the bloody Christmas ordeal, which was brilliant. They're all like, "Oh my god, this is amazing enough to we're gonna promote you to lieutenant detective," which we'll get to that, but that whole scene was like, "Okay, this kid, he's got some hunger, he's pretty smart." And then I really did enjoy his interrogation scene of the night owl murder suspects
Yeah,
between the 3
the
guys.
interrogation scene was on my list for sure. I thought
Yeah.
it was him, like, running between rooms, flipping
Yeah.
on, like, switches to let people listen and not listen.
Mhm.
I don't know if that stands up in the court of law today, but it was a great scene.
Yeah. It was just really good because he's like in the moment, he's bouncing back and forth between these 3 guys, and he's using them against each other in a ways that they never could see coming. Um, but it establishes himself as, 1, he knows what he's doing, he's exceptionally smart, so it kind of justifies because I think from the beginning, like, yeah, he throws out this good idea, which gets him promoted, but that puts him over all of the detectives, and he gets, like, the lead case on the Night Owl murders, and everybody's like, "Oh, this nerd, we hate him, and blah, blah, blah. He got all of our buddies in trouble." And it kinda feels like, his dad was a famous detective, so he's gotta fill his shoes and, like, has he earned it? And I feel
Yeah.
like in those scenes, he makes it known that he has earned it. He deserves to be here. He knows what he's doing. He's exceptionally smart. Um yeah, I think those are my favorites. I mean, like, there's some other stuff if you wanna get into, like, some of the shootouts were fun, but I wouldn't put those up there as, like, my favorite scenes because a lot of times they were just cold-blooded murder. Um,
No, I
yeah,
I I agree with you. To me, the interrogation scene is great. It shows how smart he is, to your point, right? Like, it most movies tell you that this guy's the smartest guy I know, and, like, that's you're supposed to go along with it. They
Mm,
really show you how smart his character is and how capable his character is.
mhm,
Um, See, I agree with you. I had, the lead up scene, I thought the Guy Pearce and Kevin, Spacey team up scene where they're in the office together and, Exley's giving his speech about his dad
mhm.
and telling him about, why he became a cop, and Kevin's like, "Alright, well, shit. Let's do this together then," you know?
Yeah.
I thought it was a good scene.
Let's bro up and bro down.
He's like, "You help me, I'll help you. Let's go. I'm in. You know what? I like you. We're in it."
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
I also had the punch up between Crow and Pierce when, after he finds the photos and he comes in there and
Mhm.
they punch up for a bit, and then he's like, "It was so and so, it's the chief. It's always been the chief." And they're like,
Yeah.
"All right, we're buddies now. Let's go do
Yeah.
it."
Yeah.
That was another
There
good scene.
there's a lot of, like, good bromances that were established in very quickly. Um,
Yeah.
they have harsh feelings towards each other, but they know how to bro down pretty quick, which is great. That's what you need camaraderie in a police department that's corrupt. Mm,
Well, it's like and, like, there's, like, the 3 cops. What's interesting about them is, in some ways, they're all 3 corrupt,
mhm,
right? Like, Kevin Spacey is corrupt in that he's using his police status to get into the celebrity world. He's, setting up crimes with not setting him up, but he's, like, getting tipped off of crimes with Danny DeVito for this
mhm.
mutually beneficial he's getting paid under the table corruption, right? Guy
Yeah.
Pearce, he's probably the least corrupt, but he's still, trade basically bargaining like his ideas and his, the politics of working through the police department to get promotions, especially at the end, he's literally like, nah, we'll just cover this all under the rug and I'll get a super promotion, right? So
Mhm.
like there's corruption there. And then obviously, Bud White is just beating the shit out of people. And,
Yeah, he beats up everybody. I mean,
yeah. So like
he
they're all three corrupt for
yeah,
sure. They're just not
no.
as corrupt as the guy who's trying to run a
Mhm.
mob empire through the police department.
Dang it, Dudley.
All right, any other scenes?
No, no, I
Yeah,
don't think so. I think you
yeah.
you took some of my other ones that I had.
What was the best one for you?
Um, uh, I think hearing you describe it, I would say the Rollo Tomasi scene. I think those combined, that was really, really well done.
Yeah, I think it's probably the most famous scene from this movie, or at least like
Mm,
pairing, back to back pairing. I
mhm.
don't know. I still go back. That interrogation scene with the three suspects is so good, and it really establishes Exley as like a very strong force to be reckoned with.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, best character.
I mean, you know what I'm gonna say. It's
Yeah,
Guy
yeah,
Pearce. I Here's the thing, I think we could have
yeah. Let's talk why guy.
I think we could have 1,000 Guy Pearce movies, and it still wouldn't be enough. Guy Pearce deserves to be the Hollywood A-list actor. Like, he deserves to have Leo's status, I think, in my
That's
opinion.
your real hot take right
Yeah,
there.
that's my hot take. No, I really did. I really enjoyed it. Was tough because I really did enjoy, Russell Crowe just as much as I enjoyed Guy Pearce. I think I picked Exley because, to your point, they're all corrupt in their own sense, and they all do
Mhm.
bad things, but from a character standpoint, Exley was the best of the worst, I guess you could say. Like, okay, out of everything that Exley did, like, yeah, he had some things that just didn't I don't know, he's trying to skirt a little bit so that he can make sure that he himself gets personal gain. Really the one thing that, like, just kind of came out of left field for me with Exley's character was when he went to Lynn's house and just had sex with her.
Yeah, we'll talk about Kim Basinger in a second here. Academy Award
she
winning role.
yeah, she won Best Actress on there, Best Supporting Actress. But, like, that scene, that was the only thing that really was like, "Come on, man, like, what are we doing here?" But outside of that, I really enjoyed watching Exley. He was all of the things that we had talked about, like, with him showing off his intelligence and how
Mm,
I don't know, he kinda has to overcome some adversity, especially towards the beginning of the movie, because he made a decision to get all these really terrible guys in trouble, and then they don't like him for it. It felt like it almost felt like high school, like, locker room jocks picking on the nerd. It's like, "Well, you guys deserve to get in trouble." He's
Well,
just
that's
like
the thing, right? Like, the movie almost plays it off like he's like, "Well, I ain't no rat." Like, everyone's not being a rat. You're like, "Oh, good. These guys aren't rats." I'm like, "These are corrupt police officers. Corrupt
yeah,
police officers." Age that's where I'm like, I was gonna get the age the worst in a second, but,
yeah.
get these guys some GD body cams going
They
because they need it at this police department.
they're all terrible, but out of the whole bunch, Exley is the
No,
least
yeah.
terrible.
He's a good cop and an
Mhm,
honest cop. He's just
mhm.
very he wants to be successful.
Yeah,
And so he's
exactly.
willing to do what it takes to be, like, promoted, but
Mhm.
he never puts that, that never gets in the way of him being an excellent cop, but maybe for the very end, we'll get to the end,
Mhm.
but, like, 'cause I don't know, maybe we'll do the end right now, right? Like, I'll save it for nitpicks or something because 'cause I'm like yeah, I'll
Yeah.
save it for nitpicks. We'll get to the end and, we'll get to the end
Yeah, yeah.
of this movie.
Who is your best character?
Dude, this is pains me to say it.
It's
I
Dudley.
really liked Dudley. No, I really liked Kevin Spacey in this movie.
He's really good.
Oh my god, he's so good in it, especially, like, when he gets kinda like, when, Mentalist comes in
Mm,
and, as the, kinda the gay actor who, they're trying to set up the DA with or whatever.
yeah.
And, ends up getting him murdered, and he's, like,
Mhm.
really kind of even in the scene, he's like, "Ah, man, what am I doing?" You know?
Yeah, he's torn
And
up about it.
and then he, like,
He
really is trying to make amends for it. Like, from that point going forward, he teams up with Guy Pearce and everything. I'm like, "God, it's too bad."
yeah.
But I did like him a lot. I did like Guy Pearce, but to your point, like, I can't get past the fact that it's Guy Pearce. You and me love him. Like, we've always liked him. Like, ever since I watched Time Machine when I was, like, 11, I was like, "This
Yes.
is the coolest guy, and this guy's so cool," you know?
I mean, we might be like the unofficial Guy Pearce fan club. He's so good. It's so fun. I feel like anytime I ever talk to people about movies, I always inevitably land on Guy Pearce, and they're like, "Who? How do you not know GP?"
The guy who was in the really bad version of the of the, what was his character in Iron Man 3? He's the,
Oh,
oh my god, we're so bad at this stuff, but,
well, there's been
the
so many Marvel
Mandarin.
movies.
He's the
Yes.
Mandarin, like, the bad
Yeah.
version of the Mandarin where they had to, like but again, I don't think he's bad in that movie, you know? It's
Mm,
kind of a silly movie, but
mm.
you watch Memento? Love
Oh
Memento?
god, yeah. Memento is great. Um,
The movie's equally as hard to follow as this movie, but yeah.
yeah, maybe we'll do Memento in a future one.
We'll do our episode in reverse, though. We'll start out with the "Is it a classic?" and then we'll do the each we'll
Yeah.
do each category, then end with our notes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I really enjoy Kevin Spacey in it, and it's a weird thing to say after, like, just
yeah,
real world stuff against the actor, but you have to give him credit where it's due. I think there is a reason why Kevin Spacey was so big in Hollywood is because he's so good.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, that scene where he's sitting at a bar or at the bar after the kid gets killed by the DA, and he has that $50 that Sid gave him, and he's
Mhm.
just looking at it, and he puts it down on top of his glass and walks away, and, yeah, it's like in that moment, he's like, "I messed up real big, and I need to do something about it," and yeah, his he's really good. Vincenzo's is great.
Um, and then, I don't know, I was whatever on Bud White.
Mm,
Russell Crowe's good at it. I thought it's really interesting watching all 3 of their detective styles where, like, Bud, like like, when they're getting the assignments to go find the 3 men who, the 3 black men who are accused of doing the massacre,
mhm.
and everyone's like, "Alright, you take this assignment," and, like, all 3 of them are like, "Yeah, we're not doing that." But they all do it in, like, their own different way, and they all get to the same place.
Yeah.
I thought it was kinda fun. Which so,
I
like, Bud's very competent.
yeah.
Honestly, like, what really got in the way of his character for me is the Kim Basinger relationship.
Mm, yeah.
But, what
We'll
about
get
Danny
to
DeVito's character? Did he do anything for you?
get him the fuck out of this movie, man. I don't know. I have it down as,
Alright,
like,
we'll get there, do you wanna save
yeah.
him then?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah, we'll save him. But yeah, I like Vincennes, I like Exley. Russell Crowe he was fine. Like, there was
Yeah.
nothing wrong with him. I feel like they didn't really give him a whole lot to do. Like, he literally is just the muscle and the
He's
intimidator of this
quiet
movie.
too,
Yeah.
right? Like, everyone else like, Guy Pearce won't shut the fuck up.
I
You
thought
know?
I thought okay, going back to the interrogation scene, I feel like that scene is a great representation of all 3 characters because you have
Mhm,
Guy Pearce working his magic, or sorry, Exley working his magic. Vincennes is out in the lobby, like, watching and talking to, I think he's talking to Dudley. He might be talking to somebody else, but he's like, "Yeah, this Exley guy, he's a genius." Um,
mhm.
and then you have Bud, who just breaks down the door at the last second, puts a gun in the suspect's mouth, and starts playing Russian roulette. Like, what on earth are we but in that tiny little snapshot of a movie, you get a pretty decent understanding of at least 2 of the characters, maybe not so much Vincennes, but at least Exley and Bud, like, they're who they are and how they operate.
Yeah, agreed.
Um, but
Alright, best
yeah.
character.
I mean, I like them both. Yeah,
Dude,
I don't
just
know.
go with your heart, because it's mine too. Guy Pearce
Fi
is the best character in this
fine. Yeah, Guy Pearce. I'm not even gonna say Exley because it's not Exley, it's GP.
It is, there you go.
So that
Alright,
takes us worst
worst
character.
characters. Yeah, weakest link.
Okay. I wish I could share my screen so you could see what I wrote here. So at first, I had to drill down to 2 specific people, but then I lumped them into just the entire police department is the
Okay.
worst character because they're all terrible in their own right. But if I had to drill it down to one, not by actor, purely by just like the actual character in this movie, I think I would go with Bud. He's pretty awful when you think about it. He beats people up. He
Yeah.
does literally nothing legally. He just breaks down doors without warrants. He shot that man. He
No, he's
killed that.
literally an executioner. Yeah.
Yeah. He murdered somebody in cold blood and then covered it up to make it seem like he was being shot at. He found dead bodies under a house and did nothing about it because his ex-partner might have been implicated. Um, and then he beats up Lynn. He literally is a woman beater.
Yeah.
Um, he's pretty awful, all things considered. And I guess you could say that he kind of has somewhat of a redemption at the end, but, like, does he? It's
I
like
think his redeeming factor is, like, he's doing all this, like, every time he does something evil, or not evil, but corrupt and violent,
mhm,
usually he's doing it because he really, really, really hates women beaters. Like, if
yes.
you're beating a woman, he is going to, like, see red and just that's what happens in the interrogation scene. They figure out that they, like, sexually assaulted a woman, and,
Mhm,
he's like, "Where is she? I'm off the handles now. I can't, like, let the normal procedure figure this out. Like, we gotta figure it out now, and it's gonna be at the barrel of my gun or the knuckles of my fist."
mhm.
But yeah, I agree with you. He's not a good guy.
Yeah, just overall. I mean, again, I guess you could say that when he teams up with Exley at the end, maybe he has a little bit of a redemption, but that's like saying, okay, don't get me wrong, I love Anakin, I love Darth Vader, but just because he killed Palpatine, does that mean that he's cleared of his
Yeah.
sins?
Not what
He
about the
committed
1,000,000,000 people on Alderaan he
Yeah,
murdered,
I was gonna say he committed genocide. We all love we we all love Darth Vader, but, like, was he really a good guy? It's the same thing with Bud, right? Like, is he really a good guy when he's done all these things? And yes, he does terrible things to terrible people,
Yeah.
but that in turn, he's not a good
He's
guy.
competent, right? He
He's
actually figures stuff out,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
he
yeah,
still is not a good
yeah.
not what you want on the police force.
But I think you probably could make the case that so many of the cops, like, for example, when they go, to track down the 3 black dudes when they escape, and they all go off their separate ways, but Exley goes to that apartment building with, I think is it 1 or 2 other cops? You
Yeah, I
can
think
make
it
the
was the 2 cops that planted the guns. One
Yeah,
of the 2 cops that planted the guns,
or
which is
wait,
why I think he shoots too,
was
because
it
he's
that
trying to, like,
scene?
cover it up.
No, 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 I'm sorry. Sorry, I was jumping ahead. Wrong scene. It was a different scene with another incompetent cop with a shotgun. When they first find the guys, because they find the car and, they're trying to track down these 3 suspects.
Yes.
They tie it back to the car, and they already find those other 2 cops that are there, and they're like, "Oh, yeah, they're upstairs." When they bust in the door, you could make a case that the first cop, he busts in, he literally is about to shoot this man who's sleeping on a couch with a shotgun,
Yeah,
probably
and
like 5 feet away. Exley, thank God, throws his gun up in the air and he
yeah,
shoots the
guys
ceiling,
guy saves, yeah.
right? You can make the case that that dude is the worst character in the movie.
He's definitely
They
the
are
worst cop, one of the worst cops.
how are you gonna break down a door and just start shooting? They're all really bad. But in terms of who do we get to know the most, Bud has the most screen time out of all of the
Mhm.
corrupt cops. So he might be my worst, but they're all equally pretty terrible.
Yeah, Bud's like a morally righteous corrupt cop,
Mm.
where, like, everyone else is just more amoral corrupt.
He's a vigilante, like,
Yeah,
but almost okay, like, it's funny when we have vigilantes like Deadpool, 'cause they're like, "Oh, this is really entertaining, it's not supposed to be serious." This movie's supposed to be serious. It's like, "Dude, you're doing some really heinous shit." Like, I
yeah.
don't know if I can get on board with this.
So, alright, what about Imma throw 2 other names out there. Danny
Mhm.
DeVito's character,
I would
Hush
agree.
Hush guy. Like, I don't know, he's whatever. Like,
He's just there. I
Danny DeVito's
hesitate.
an odd choice. It's very '90s.
It is.
Um,
I think yeah, I feel
he's
like his
almost
character.
distracting when he's on the screen.
Yeah. They stopped doing it. They did it really hard in the first part of the movie where his character had, like, the monologues,
Yeah, the
and
narration of his writing.
exactly, and you could hear him, like, typing on the old-timey typewriter in the background. It felt extremely cartoony and just goofy, and it threw me off because I was like, what kinda direction are we trying to go in? Is this supposed to be serious or a little bit more kinda silly? But I think it's because of Danny DeVito. I can't take him seriously.
Yeah.
He's very goofy.
Um, alright, what about Kim Basinger?
Also equally terrible. You would have my vote for both of those. I would vote for both as worst
Like,
character.
my thing with Kim Basinger character is it's not a character, like, she barely is in the movie, and when she is in, she's more sex appeal than, like, actual personality,
Mm,
at least in my opinion. I how every guy interacts with her, I don't understand. Like, her relationship with Bud, and he basically meets her at a liquor
uh,
store,
yeah, liquor store, yeah.
then, he tracks her down and then is, like, stalking her outside her house, and she sees him in his car, and then eventually, like, one day he walks up and she's like, "I don't know why I love you," and he's like, "I don't know why I love you too, and we're in love," and I'm like, "What are we talking about? Like, why is everyone so intoxicated by her?" And she, like, for some reason likes Bud. Bud hasn't said 6 words to her other than, like, "Hey, Merry Christmas."
Yeah,
Like, it was so weird. Then to your point, the Guy Pearce interaction, Guy Pearce walks in and he's like, "What do you know about Bud?" And she's like, "I don't know." He's like, "Okay, I'm just gonna start kissing you." And you're like, "Wait, what?"
yeah. The
I'm like,
it's almost like, it reminds me of, like, Harry Potter or something where with, like, the love potions.
yeah,
Yeah, it's like when these men get in her orbit, they're just like, oh, they're in a
yeah,
trance. I
I
true I it felt like her character it's almost like they had an obligation in the script to say, "Hey, we have to have a love story in here,"
mhm.
and her relationship just her character in general, to your point, but her relationship with Bud felt so shoehorned in there, I didn't understand the point. Um
Yeah, and it doesn't really serve a purpose other than at one point to kinda drive a wedge
mm,
between Guy Pearce and Russell Crowe. Or, like, cause like, the guy who's her I don't know, like, who runs the Fleur de Lis,
the pimp.
agency. Yeah, pimp, there you go.
He's the pimp.
Yeah, the guy who runs that agency, like, Kim Basinger brings nothing to, like, what's discovered about that agency.
Mhm.
Like, nothing like, the girl who's murdered, who looks like Laura Lynn or whatever whoever they said it was. Like, she's driving more of the plot and she's murdered, you
Mhm.
know? And then
Yeah.
the guy who plays pimp, he's driving more of the plot, but, like, Kim Basinger's not at all. I
Mhm,
just
mhm.
don't understand. Like, to me, it's almost like they needed it was a remnant from the book, to your point. So they cut out a lot of stuff, a lot of different subplots. It's a remnant from the book, and they wanted to have like a bombshell on the movie poster
Yeah.
to sell the movie. And
Yeah.
somehow she wins the Academy Award for this. I
Yeah.
did
I mean, when
it
you that's
she's fine, but
yeah, you bring up a great point. When you the cover, the movie poster for this, she is front and center. It's like she was included just for
yeah.
marketing almost. But yeah, I had it under it could have been a nitpick, but I had it under age the worst. But it goes in with this because we're talking about Lynn. But yeah, their Bud and Lynn's relationship feels so out of place. So he goes over to her house to ask her some questions. I can't remember what she says, but he gets kind of curt with her and he's like, "Do not bribe me." And he is just kind of a turd. But as he's going to leave her house, there has been no sign whatsoever of him being interested in her. Uh, he just turns around and he says, I want to see you again. And she asks this simple question, is this a date or an appointment? And then he like,
She's like, "I don't know," or something.
he flips around, he says, "Never mind, it was a mistake." And then he, like, storms off. I think I actually threw my hands up and was like, "What just happened?
I know
Where
it's
where did
I
this
don't know.
relationship" Yeah, and then, but, like, to make it worse, it's like they doubled down on, like, there is this, undying attraction and passion between these 2 characters, and he shows up again to her house randomly, and he was like, "I wondered when I'd see you again," and then they just have sex. And then they're together. At no point during any of their initial interactions was I was like, "Yeah, those 2, that's our love story front and center right there." It just came out of left field, and
Yeah.
I don't know. It really felt so shoehorned in that it just didn't make any sense.
Yeah, I completely agree. I feel like any relationship that she had, I was like, why are the people acting the way they do around her?
Yeah.
I just
Guy
like, and it's
Pearce, like,
not to her fault. Like, it's not the
no, it's
actress's fault. Like, I think Kim Basinger is fine in the movie. I just don't
mhm.
understand the interactions with her.
Yeah,
And yeah, again, maybe we're missing something as non-film critics and non-film buffs and people who weren't in our 30s or 40s in the 90s watching this for the first time. Like, I don't know. Maybe we're just missing something. I don't get why she won the Academy Award. I don't know. In her defense, I don't know who she was up against.
yeah,
Right? Maybe she was up against, I don't know.
because it was supporting actress, it wasn't
Yeah,
best
it's supporting
actress.
actress, but,
So,
like I don't know
mhm.
the role, but I'm just thinking off the top of my head, the '97 movies out there,
There's a
like
lot. You're not gonna tell me that she beats Diz from Starship Troopers. I will not I don't accept
I
that.
was gonna say The Fifth Element, the blue singing lady who has the stuff in her I'm
Yeah.
like, "That woman is incredible for the 30
Yeah.
seconds she's on the screen." I
Absolutely.
don't know.
I give it to her. No shade to Kim Bessinger. Bessinger? I don't know how you pronounce it.
Basinger? I don't know
Yeah.
either with you.
She was fine. Yeah, it's just I think how her character was written and just her involvement in the movie, but I would agree. I think I'm on board to label her worst character.
I mean, like yeah, okay, we'll give it to Kim. Sorry, you get the Academy Award from your peers, and you get the worst character from Popcorn and Pals.
Congratulations. We'll send you a medal.
Alright. Alright, what's aged the best? My list is
Oh,
not super long.
no, I only had 1. Guy Pearce, Russell Crowe, and unfortunately Kevin Spacey. They were I thought they were all phenomenal. I think, like, I
Yeah.
was reading, I know you read it too, they were Guy Pearce and Russell Crowe specifically were, like, unknown in America at the time. They
Mhm.
weren't, and so I think it just said, like, one of the film's producers or backers or somebody had concerns that because they were unknown, the movie might not perform super well. But that was unfounded. Movie did great, got great reviews, all the things, right? And I think it's because they are so good. I mean, like, yeah, there are some initial hiccups, like getting out of the starting gate, but I think as the movie progresses, they're all so strong. And
Yeah.
especially at a time where, like, yeah, I don't, this is probably like their first big appearance in, the American market. And I think it established them clearly, because like you said, Russell Crowe after this, what, 2 years later, went on to make
Yeah, I think it's
Gladiator.
99. I think no, maybe it's a little, maybe it's 4 years later. I think it's 2001 actually, off the top of my head, but,
But I'm sure
4 years.
that
He's Gladiator, right?
yeah.
And then
I'm
Memento is a couple years after this, I think, too. I think that's 99.
yeah, like, I
Like,
know this movie probably propped them up
yeah.
to snag some of those other roles where they went on to be really, really memorable, but
Especially Russell Crowe.
mhm, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they all 3 of them, they're really, really good in this movie. I really like, I didn't outside of Danny DeVito, which through no fault of his own, I think it's just who he just plays what he knows, but the majority of the actors and actresses in this movie were really good, but those 3, they were
Yeah.
phenomenal. They were really good.
No, the highlight of this movie, I think, is the acting,
Mhm.
for sure.
Yeah.
Um, I had just, like, noir movies in general. I think noir
Mhm.
is great. It always
Yeah.
works. Like,
It's really fun.
it's fun.
Mhm.
I had, like, 1950s Hollywood as, like, a backdrop to the movie. Like,
Mhm.
I don't know, like, it works in this movie. I think, um, like, the kinda the Rat Pack era is just such a fun era to explore of
Yeah, I would agree.
um,
It's a fun time, especially because you're coming off the heels of World War II, where it's so different, like the theater of war, and then you have the glitz and glamour of, like, golden age Hollywood. It's
Yeah,
really
and
fun.
America's in a boom time, right? Like,
Yeah.
everything is yeah, everyone's making money and
Mm.
starting businesses and,
Mhm.
America, like, rarely becomes the world leader in the 1950s, and it's just like, yeah, it's a fun backdrop.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't have anything else that aged the best, though. I mean, like, the movie's fine.
Yeah, no,
Those are the
no.
couple things I had in my mind. I
Yeah,
think the
yeah.
actors, to your point, and then maybe some of the setting of the movie.
Mhm. I would
Um,
agree.
alright, age the worst.
I had 2, they were kinda silly, but eh. So some of the sound effects were, especially you notice them very early in the movie when Bud beats up that dude who's beating up his
Yeah, the
wife.
punching sounds, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah,
and
yeah.
things.
Just some of
Matrix is 2
those
years away, by the way.
yeah. Like, it's funny, I feel like this and it's a remnant of this era of, like, movie making. It's like the sound design teams all had the same soundboard, and they
Yeah.
all use the same sound for punching. It just sounds unnatural, it sounds kinda cartoony, but
Mm.
just by modern standards, you hear it, and you're like, "Oh, yeah, that's that fake punch noise." Um, and then, I mean, I will say it, watching Kevin Spacey convince a young homosexual guy to go have a sexual tryst with, like, an old man. I don't know, I was like,
No,
"Oh, this
Kevin
feels"
Spacey ages he is the winner of this category. Like, what is
yeah.
age the worst? Kevin Spacey? Like, just
Like, there is
yeah.
okay, like, you go into it, and we're not gonna get political or anything like that, but you go into it, and you're like, "Ah, Kevin Spacey's in here, and then you watch it, and it's really good, and he's really good. You gotta give him credit where it's due, but I don't know, it was just funny watching that whole scene go down for his character specifically. I was like, "Oh
Yeah, it's
god."
awful. Yeah. No, it's no good.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's no bueno.
What did you have?
There's some bad ADR. I don't know if you noticed it. Maybe it was just the where I was watching it, but there was some pretty bad ADR over some of the scenes. I had on
Mm,
that.
I
I
think I
had the
yeah.
physical abuse of when Bud hits Lynn. It's like,
Mm.
that's not
It
aging
was
well.
yeah, it was a tough one to watch. I always I'll be honest, I couldn't watch it. I saw him, like, walking up to her at a brisk pace, and I was like, I'm not gonna do it." It's tough. It's tough.
There's one scene in it. Now, granted, it is the 50s. I think it's supposed to be playing on this, but I lived in LA in the 90s, so I have some level of authority on this, I feel like.
Mm,
But there's a scene, there was like an advertisement for LA in the movie, and it says, "Land is cheap. Um, every working man can have a home in
hmm,
Los Angeles." I
yeah.
was like, no,
Nah, man.
that has not aged well.
Even even in the 50s. Yeah.
I was like, I lived in LA in the 90s, and it was. I mean, my parents bought a house and everything, and it was a nice house, and my dad was in management at the time, and he had a good job for sure, and it was like a. But the house that we owned, like Like, my when we left LA and it was, like, 10 years later, I was like my dad's like, "We couldn't even move back to the
Yeah,
same house we owned 10 years ago in LA because
yeah,
it's so crazy expensive there." And
mhm,
now it's even worse, like, it's just insane.
yeah. Can't fathom living in California.
Yeah, so home prices in LA, age the worst, for sure. But I think Kevin Spacey wins this category, like, hands
Yeah,
down, just the worst.
yeah, sorry, Kevin.
He is the worst. Yeah, it's no good.
Oh,
Alright. Anything else for age the worst?
no, no, that was it.
What are they talking about? WTF are they talking about? What do you got?
So, I didn't have specific words, but I had 2 phrases that I just never heard before. I thought they were interesting. So when Dudley first is, like, recruiting Bud, it's after the Bloody Christmas, testimony scene, and they're sitting at I don't know if it's a bar or restaurant, but he asks Bud if he gets his drift, and Bud replies, "In Technicolor, sir," which I get it. I know it means, like, I know I'm crystal clear. I understand what you're saying, but I've
Yeah.
never heard that phrase before, "in Technicolor, sir." I thought that was interesting. And
Probably
then
meant more in the '50s, you know, like, when Technicolor
yeah.
was a new thing.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
But it was just yeah, it was just I feel like I wanna start using that now, "in
There
Technicolor,
you go.
Zach." Um And then the second one, when Exley is doing the interrogation scene on the suspects, he's trying to crack one of the guys, and he tells him that if he was younger, he could have gone to regular prison and he would have got himself a sissy. And the
Yeah,
guy
I have.
says, yeah, the guy says, "I don't truck with sissies." That specific term, truck with sissies. Never heard it. I think we all know
Yeah.
what sissy means in this context, but I'd never
I think
heard
in the
truck.
and I think in that scene too, they calls one of them a switch,
Yeah.
and I think it also means, like, to, do prison stuff, I don't know, anyways, but
Mhm. Yeah, yeah,
do
yeah, yeah.
yeah, and so, like,
But
there's some homophobia in that scene that I did not, yeah, I was
mhm.
picking up on the language, but it was new to me too.
Yeah, like, you definitely you get the context of everything, but just
Mhm.
some of those specific phrases, I was like, "I've never heard that before. I don't truck with sissies. I don't I don't truck with that crap. I'm gonna start saying that too. I don't truck with that."
Yeah, there was one of them that says, like, "I want a brace stampando" or something, I don't know, there was some, like, name they
Mm,
used, I didn't know what it meant, I didn't look it up, but, and then the one for me that I was like, "I've heard this 1,000 times, and there's shows about it," and I'm like, I really don't know what it means, and maybe this is just because I'm stupid or don't watch a lot of, like, Law& and Order or something, but
mhm,
one of them was, like, they kept referring to, like, people who work for Vice and in the police department, I'm like, "Okay, I
mm,
get what homicide is. I
mhm.
get what, the narcotics is, but I'm like, I actually not quite sure I know what Vice investigates." So I looked it up, but it was interesting. I'm like, I'm gonna look that up now. I'm like, I'm 36 years old. I should know what this is.
Yeah,
It's been in pop culture forever.
enlighten me because I feel like my only familiarity is Miami Vice.
Yeah, so it has to do with I don't know the right word because it's not sex crimes like SVU, but it's like
Mhm,
looking into like sex workers and things like that side of
mhm,
the investigation, the extortion, human trafficking, sex work, and stuff like that is
mhm.
what they investigate. But I had no idea. I was like, "Huh,
Yeah,
interesting."
interesting. I didn't either. I didn't know that.
All right. Anything else you got?
No.
Yeah. It was I mean, like I said, the movie's from '97, so they kept the language, I think. And again, if they use language from the '50s, it's, like, obvious to what they're saying today.
Yeah. I like, there was now that I think about it, the only other thing that they referenced a lot of old Hollywood actresses when they talked
Mhm.
about the sex workers that were made to look but they used their names very frequently. I was completely checked out. I don't know who these people are,
That's
and
why
they
we're in this
throw them
podcast,
out.
man.
Yeah. They
Come
throw
back
them
in a
out
year,
s
we're gonna get some of them.
Yeah. They throw out these names so quickly, and
Mhm.
then, I don't know, everything starts to bleed over because then they start talking about names of suspects and names of leads, and I was just like, "Dude, I can't look up all these people, man. This is
Yeah.
too much going
That's
on."
there's a movie I watched, and it's about real people, but it's, All the President's Men. Are you familiar with it?
I feel like I've heard of it, but I've never
It's Robert Redford and,
I've never seen it.
Rain Man,
Dustin.
but Dustin Hoffman, thank you.
Mhm.
And they're investigating Watergate, basically,
Oh, oh, fun.
and they work for the Washington Post, and they're based on 2 real people that kinda broke the Watergate story.
Mm,
And, it's interesting. So, I had not learned a lot about Watergate, and I feel like we're in, like, a Watergate, like, kinda golden age where
yeah.
there's a bunch of television shows made on it nowadays.
Mhm.
But when I first watched that movie, I had no idea really much about it. I just knew the movie was supposed to be good.
Yeah.
And, I was like, "Okay, well, I'll learn about Watergate, I'll watch it." The whole movie is, like, from the writer's perspective, so they're always talking about things. They're not, like, bringing in flashbacks or stuff like that, and so they're always using names to describe things. I'm like,
Hmm.
"Well, if you're watching this movie in the '70s right after Watergate, and all these people are in the newspaper and all these people, like, you know the names."
Yeah.
As, like, a, 21-year-old kid in the 2010s, I was like, I don't know any of these names. I was like,
Yeah.
"I have no idea what's going on in this movie. I cannot follow this movie at all." They're
Yeah.
talking about, like, so and so and this and that. I'm like, "Who is that? What is their job?" Like, you gotta follow it with, like, who it is, their relationship to Nixon, and what their job was, because I
Mhm.
don't know any of these names. That's kinda
Yeah.
how you feel in this movie, like, they're bringing in all these names, and you're like, I can't keep track of, and most of the time, it really doesn't matter, right?
Mm.
Like, when it comes down to it, like, it really doesn't matter what the names are because they're all red herrings for what's really happening. But yeah, there is a lot of names. I agree with you.
Yeah. A lot of names for sure.
All right. Hot takes. You kind of stole one of mine with the Russell Crowe thing. I was like, does he deserve to be suspended? He does, right?
Hot takes and nitpicks. I've got a few.
Okay.
Why don't we'll go tit for tat. I'll do one, you do one, 'cause I bet
Yeah.
you have some too. Okay, first one, maybe this hits harder because we both have been in the corporate America world for a decade plus now,
Yeah.
but how the fact that Exley pitched an idea to his superiors and that got him a promotion from literally the front desk to lieutenant detective. That completely outlandish. There's no way that you make that career jump just by pitching an idea. Um, Out of the gate, I was like, where did this come from? How did this dude is literally covering night shift on the front desk, but
Oh, that's
now
how I went from intern to vice president. You didn't know that
yeah,
in my
exactly.
company? Yeah. Right.
It just it was just funny. It's like this dude and, like, yeah, I don't know, his dad had some clout and, people know his dad or whatever, but it was a pretty big jump, and then before you know it, he's leading the entire detective force on this big murder case, like but
No,
that was one for me.
that's a good nitpick.
Mm.
Yeah. Well, it just shows how corrupt they are, right?
Apparently. I mean,
Yeah.
and I will say his idea was good, right? Because yes, there's a downside of like, well, he's not like doing the right thing because he's trying to punish and get the people fired who already have their pensions and like they're old and they're on their way out the door anyway. So you're not holding, certain people accountable. You're shoving it off to people who it just doesn't matter. But
Yeah.
he does try to get Bud and Stins fired, which by all accounts, they deserve to be fired. But, so it goes back to that one, like, Exley he is good for the most part morally, but he does do things to progress his own career path. And that
Yeah.
it opens up on that scene, and boy, does he progress that career.
The one I had? So,
Mm.
the scene when Bud walks in to question Lynn, and he walks into his house, and there's, like, the DA guy there or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Well, not
Yeah, yeah.
DA guy, but he's like a councilman, and,
Yeah,
yeah, he
yeah, yeah.
walks out, and she walks in, and there's, like, a movie playing in the room, right? And
Mhm.
she pulls the screen up. It's in the middle of the room.
Yeah.
The screen. In her ceiling is like a pull down screen. I'm like, "That's in your living room? You just have
Yeah.
this thing bolted to your ceiling at all times?" I kept
She
looking for it later in the movie to see if the camera would catch it. I
yeah.
was like, I'm like, "That's a weird thing to have in your house." I don't know. It's not
It
like
is. Her house was her house was exceptionally ornate too for
Yeah.
I know she was like a high scale sex worker, but her door was like a medieval castle door. She had a fireplace that was like as big as my living room. It
Oh,
was
yeah, no.
it was an
Swanky house
exceptional
for
room
sure.
and apparently a movie theater screen right in the middle of her living
Well,
room.
just remember, in LA, the land is cheap, and every working man can have a home there, so even sex
It's like,
working people.
it all ties in. It all circles back. Oh,
But
yeah,
yeah,
great
it
point.
was like the first thing. I was like, "This is a goofy
Yeah.
thing to have in the house." Like, I'm like, if it was like on a stand or something, she's like brought it out for whatever the client wants, I get. But I'm like, it's in
Mm,
her ceiling. I'm
it
like,
isn't,
okay,
yeah. That's yeah, that's a
ruins
good
kind of
point.
ruined the aesthetic of the house, but okay.
I can't wait to pitch that to my wife. "Hey, we need to put a,
It's in
movie
the
theater
middle of the
screen."
room too. It's not even
Yeah,
against the wall. It's just
yeah.
floating in the room. I
Maybe
don't
she's
know.
onto
It's
something. Okay, here's my second one, and you keep me honest on this because I don't think I missed anything, but I very well could have missed something. Okay, so after Exley sleeps with Lynn
Mhm,
and Bud ambushes Exley and beats him up, right? He
mhm.
finds the pictures. This would imply that Bud knew that Exley knew about his relationship with Lynn because clearly he thinks that Exley did this on purpose, which by all accounts he did, but Exley did this on purpose to get to Bud. How would Bud know that? I guess I was super
Maybe
confused by
just
that.
assuming it, yeah. Or
Yeah,
he flies off the handle so much, maybe he just sees the photos and he's just like, "All right, I'm done to I can't even."
he does. I mean, it'd be
Yeah.
one thing if Bud strolled into the PD and was like, "Hey, I got a new girlfriend. Her name is Lynn, and here's a picture of her." And Exley was like, "Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, sure. Maybe I could see that." But to his knowledge, nobody knows about his relationship. And
Yeah, it is weird, right? Like,
but that because he's yeah, that I maybe there was something that got lost in translation from, like, the book adaptation, but it just irked me because I was like, "Ah, this feels like a plot hole. This feels like a."
yeah, maybe he picked it up from because he goes to see Lynn first, right, where he hits her, and
Mhm,
she's like, "I did this for you. I thought I was doing this for you. We talked about," like, I think she says, like, "We talked about you," or something.
mm,
And because he comes in, or Lynn is like, Lynn says he was asking about you. So maybe that's where he picks it up. So
yeah.
you didn't watch that scene because you were too
Yeah,
sensitive. You're too
I didn't
sensitive. You're such a sensitive soul.
I didn't wanna see him beating up this woman.
Yeah, I think
Yeah, no,
Lynn
it
tells
could've.
him it. I think maybe that's where it is. I don't know.
No, that yeah. There was a lot of rage in Bud,
Yeah.
and it just at the time, it seemed unwarranted, but yeah, it probably was that scene of her saying something to tip him off that Exley knew, but well, okay, then
We
that negates my nitpick because then it explains itself. Thank you very much, Zachary.
sorry. Well, I have to nitpick the nitpicks, okay? That's what is part of this
We
game.
have to keep each other accountable.
Yeah. No, I put the rogue cops down here too, because like, these cops are, to your point, right? You're like the worst police department on the planet. They're
Mm,
all like, none of this would hold up in court. You beat a guy, his confessions are useless, you
yeah,
know? Like, it's just becomes extortion, you cannot believe anything. They're the worst cops. There's not like, they have to execute people because they couldn't put people away in prison because they would
y
not hold up in court at
yeah.
all.
Did they
No one's bringing in Bud and be like, "All right, here's the witness, and this is, we'll get the police's statement in there." Because like, Bud's like, "Yeah, I beat the shit out of him because he was beating his wife and I handcuffed him to the side of a building." He's like, "Yeah, okay, arrest Bud, please." And then, you know, like, he's getting arrested and they're telling his story.
they say if from the Bloody Christmas incident, if those suspects were killed or not, or if they were just, like, beaten really badly?
Yeah, I don't know.
Because
They kind of
if
alluded to that they weren't even the right people.
yeah, if those guys survived, I just can't I could not imagine the day in court to say, "Yeah, we were attacked by literally the entire police force, and there's photo evidence that made the newspapers."
Yeah. I
The
do want yeah, I do wonder because this is right after LA had a pretty bad corruption,
Mhm, mhm,
moment in history, the Rodney King stuff. I
yeah,
wonder if that's like what kind of, um what
sparked
made
it.
the movie seem more relevant to a lot of people, and a lot like, we're so
Mhm,
far removed from that and we were so young when it happened
yeah,
that LA corruption kind of stuff doesn't sit as topical to us, but I wonder at the moment they'd be like, "Wow, this is like an allegory for, stuff that goes on today." And honestly, there is still a lot of that goes on today. We see it all the time. So,
mhm,
but maybe being closer to home to LA and having that moment,
yeah.
um, I do wonder if that was part of why it was so acclaimed.
Yeah, good point.
Um, what else you got?
Um, this is my last one, and,
Okay, I
you can't buck me on this because it's just total opinion. How the hell is Bud alive at the end of the movie?
he got shot in
So
the cheek, you know?
He
He's
he gets
fine.
he got shot. I think he was shot in the arm, I could be wrong. He definitely got shot 2 to 3 times mid-mass, and this
Yeah.
their bo body armor did not exist back then. So
He's
you
wearing like
can
a white collared shirt
yeah,
with a tie.
you can't tell me you get shot in the chest, that does not hit any vital organ, and then you get shot in the face. And, like, I get it, it goes through your cheek, it probably messed up all his teeth and his
Yeah, he
mouth
didn't talk at the
clearly.
end, so he's clearly wired shut.
He's just sitting back there moping and pouting. But, like, I
Nah.
actually got a little bit angry when Exley walked out 'cause they kinda set it up that Bud died, right? Like, Exley
Oh, no.
walks
I
he
had no idea that
he
Bud was gonna be there.
yeah, he walks out of, what I can't remember what the building was, but he walks out arm in arm with, Lynn, which I was like, "Dude, don't tell me that they're gonna be in a relationship now." And then you see Bud back in the car, somehow alive with a gauze over his face. And I said, "Get out of here. What do you mean this man's alive?" That was my big nitpick. I was like, "There's no way."
I agree. I agree with you. It's almost like they focus tested and they're like, Vincent's already died. We can't have two of them leads die. So, so they were like, all right, we'll just throw him in the end. Be like, yep,
Uh,
pulled
I think
through. What a
if it
guy.
if this was a modern, like, cop movie where they had, like, body armor, absolutely. I
Sure.
can buy getting shot in the mouth and you survive. Yeah, 100%, but nah, I'm not sold. He's dead. He's deader than a doornail in my book. Ugh.
That's funny. So I had the end. So my biggest nitpick is like the logic of everyone at the end of this movie. So
Mm,
to start with the final shootout, the police chief, right? He's like taking out people left and right to like clean up his story and cut loose ends. 8 dudes, I had a count going. 8 guys show up in this shootout at the end of it. Who are these 8 guys? These 8 other police officers or these 8 other loose ends? I'm like, how, how many people know about your crime organization
mm,
and that you've already taken out like all the big players? So now you just got the grunts who don't matter, like who have no financial investment in this other than like they're one, you know, bribe away from telling everyone that you're the corrupt police chief. There's 8 dudes
mhm.
at the end. I'm like, oh my God, there's a lot of
Yeah,
this organization is expansive. It's already killed like 10 people. And I'm like, there's 8 more here. There's 18 dudes in the police
man.
department that are involved in this into a level where they're willing to go kill someone for him. So anyways, that was my first one. I was like, ugh, come on. Like this organization's falling apart in 5 minutes. This guy
H
cannot keep this together.
he
And
had
then
he had
go ahead.
8 boyos on his side.
I'm just saying, like this was an expansive organization,
Mhm.
and I'm like, there's no way he's holding it together
Yeah,
for much
no,
longer.
it's a great point.
Um, Next was Guy Pearce's, like, tactic and, like, rationale at the end. He's like, because everyone's like, "Well, we can't show how corrupt we are, this is gonna take down the whole force," and he's like, "Well, then make me, whatever he want, police chief extraordinaire," whatever he negotiated.
Super special police chief.
Yeah, super special police chief, and he's like, "Yep, yeah, that guy was a hero, and we stopped legitimate crime in this country or in this city." Okay, he is supposed to be altruistic, right? He's
Mhm,
supposed to be the one who's like, "I am a real cop." When it comes down to it, it's like, "I'll get the promotion, like, we stopped the bad guy, so I'll get the promotion. We'll say this, but we stopped the crime. Like, I'm the real cop, I actually did the real cop thing." How this organization was expansive, as we just established. So there's murders happening all over the place. He's doing like crime,
mhm.
like a le- uh, organized crime. So he's killed innocent people. So there's all kinds of unsolved cases related to this that they just swept under the rug. There's people going home every single day going, my loved one is dead and we cannot solve this crime. And the cop who's supposed to be the one good cop just covered it all up. And so, like, I guess they're just going to have a series of unsolved crimes related to his organization because
Yeah,
they didn't let it actually come out. You know, I'm like, "Really?" I'm like, "Are you a good cop? You just" there's people who are gonna continue every day not knowing what happened, you know? Not having the police follow up on what they nee you know? Like
Yeah.
you're just making it worse, Guy Pearce, okay?
Mhm.
Like, you think you're
Yeah.
doing the right thing, you think you stopped everything, but, like, the corruption continues.
I actually thought, like, even at the end of the movie, but I would hate to be a citizen in their, like, jurisdiction. That Could you imagine these are the people who are protecting you and who
Oh,
are
no,
serving out
that's
justice?
no good.
God. You call the cops and here they come. Bud busts through your front door, kicks it in, and then before you know it, you're shot in the face. I mean,
Yeah.
for
He's putting a gun on your fingerprints on a gun, you know?
like those I feel worse for the citizens of Los Angeles
Yeah, no kidding.
in this movie. Huh.
I'm gonna have to go move to the Midwest or something. I don't think the
Yeah.
Midwest was any better back then with organized crime, but
Mm.
City of
Oh,
Angels, you know?
speaking of Midwest, we didn't do, the sequel or what
Oh,
happens the
yeah,
next
we
day.
skipped sequel.
Or do you have any more hot takes, nitpicks?
No, no, I'm sorry, I can't believe we missed it. Alright, let's go do it. We'll do it now.
Okay, so I have something different for you because
Okay.
the sequel would be boring. It would be Exley goes to Arizona and blah, 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 snooze,
Bud's
I'm
physical
asleep.
therapy routine.
Yeah, Bud goes and beats Lynn every night because he's a piece of shit. No, here's what I would wanna see, because this movie takes place in 1951. We can
Mhm.
say with probably a decent amount of assumption that Bud probably fought in World War II. There's probably a lot of them that fought in World War II. I wanna see a prequel that explains how and why Bud became such an efficient murderer. Whether he was like, some World War II secret agent or, something, but something that explains. I mean, yes, we know that he has mommy and daddy issues, that his dad beat his mom or kill his mom. I don't know. I don't care. I don't care about that. I want to know how he
Harsh.
got those direct hand to hand combat skills and how he was just beating the shit out of everybody because that could be a fun story. But
Yeah, no, I think it would be interesting yeah, like a Bud prequel
mhm.
or an Exley prequel, he's just very studious in school, but,
He's just a nerd that gets picked on. They throw his glasses so he can't get them.
he's like, "One day I'm gonna make lieutenant."
Okay, also,
The
I will say this, I'm gonna be a little prejudiced here for a second. I actually took a lot of offense at the beginning of the movie when everybody made fun of Exley for his glasses because,
okay, that was
uh
also in my nitpicks. I thought like, this glasses have to account for something. Everyone is giving him so much shit, he's taking them on and off, it gets brought up so many times. It means nothing
it
other
means
than
nothing, yeah. They just
it's like
picked on him just to be mean, and, as somebody who has to have corrective lenses to be able to see, I think I'm probably legally blind if I don't have my contacts or glasses on. I took offense to that, and when he is, they're approaching the suspects of the Night Owl murders, they're approaching the car, and he pulls his gun when he's standing next to Vincennes, and he puts his glasses on, and Vincennes is like, "Oh, really?" It's like, "Dude, wait, what do you mean? I If you can't see shit and you're gonna try to go in here and possibly get in a shootout, don't talk trash about my
No,
glasses."
they're giving shit to everyone's glasses, and everyone's tie is like 7 or 8 inches above their waist. I'm like, "Lower your t" like, "The ties are what looks the worst, you big dorks."
Man, it was just like that old school bullying, like, "Ugh,
Yeah.
lose the glasses, nerd."
I know, I thought it was gonna amount to something. I thought he was gonna stick them on, he was gonna able to shoot something that, and he's like, "Yeah, glasses, bitch," and, like, shoot him or something, I don't know, but, like, never turned up, never came back. Kinda
No.
gets forgot about, like, 3/4 of the way through the movie, but okay.
It Yeah,
Those
it
come up a
does.
lot, though.
But yeah, I don't know, maybe a prequel
No,
because I feel
I
like
think a prequel is a really interesting way to take this movie because I really don't I mean, yeah, the movie kinda ends in, like obviously, Vincennes is dead,
mm,
like, Bud is off with Lynn, and he's left the police department, and, he's going through physical therapy the rest of his life,
mhm,
and then, I mean, Exley's there, I guess he's, like, taking down more corruption, but I think to your point, Bud's origin story would be really interesting, like, how did you get to this place where you were so violent, and yet you still have this, like, I would say, righteousness to you.
Yeah, because he is I you outside of him being violent, you have to give his character credit to being extremely effective.
Mhm.
He is very good at what he does. He whoops some ass throughout
He
that movie.
does.
So, yeah, I think you could take it let's not do a sequel. Let's do a prequel, and let's figure out and understand how and why Bud became so effective.
Yeah.
So
I like
that's
that
my
call.
take. Yeah.
Good job. Alright. Can't believe we missed that category. Sorry, it's my bad.
Ugh. It's a lesser
Um,
category, but still fun from time
nah,
to
it's a
time.
fun one. Alright. Should this be a classic? One of the, highest rated movies of all time.
I'm gonna say no.
I
It's not
I completely agree.
I don't
It's the same like, there's so many noir movies that are so
Mhm.
similar to this one. I don't even know why it stands, like, on the shoulders. It's not even the best movie of '97. It's, like,
Yeah.
not even maybe the top 5 movie of '97
Yeah.
for me.
No, I agree, and I don't know, maybe it's because we have grown up with, movies that have just done it better, maybe? I don't know, and shows too, we've grown up in the era where, a good HBO show will blur the lines between, film and TV. But no, I agree, I felt when I got done watching it, it was fine, it just I
Yeah,
think,
it's a good way to
again
spend 2.5 hours.
yeah, again, I think going into it under the notion of this movie is in the upper echelon of movies, it just didn't meet those expectations for me, and I just kept thinking to myself, if I really wanted like a good murder mystery cop thriller movie, I have probably a billion choices that I could watch that would probably be better than this. Or just more entertaining or more in line with what I, prefer.
Mhm.
It was fine. It was really good. But yeah, I maybe we're in the minority on this. You know what I did? I wanted to find like-minded uh pessimists like
Mhm.
myself. I tried to go on Reddit. I couldn't find anything. Everybody loves this movie. There's tons of Reddit threads about how good this movie is, and I really struggled. I found like one user submitted article on IMDb about the most overrated movies of all time, and this made that list. And that was just some random dude out there on the internet or girl, I don't know. But it's everybody loves it, and I just didn't feel the same
No, I mean, look, I liked it. It was fine. Like I said,
way.
it was fine. But, like, it's not a like, a lot of times we go, "Is should it be a classic?" We're like, "Well, I see why it's a classic. I see why we should give, Philadelphia Story a chance, right? It wasn't for us, but, like, I don't know why this is a classic. Like, I don't know
Yeah,
why this is so highly regarded. Now
I
that's
think
maybe again, this is why we start off with our unqualified takes because we are
yeah.
so unqualified, but this is not it for me.
I think you raised a good point pretty early on. I know we should take works of art for what they are and not compare it, but it's difficult to not compare it when it came in a year where there were so many other good movies, right? Like, when you look at some of the other movies that we've talked about on this podcasts, it seemed like they stood out for their time. Comparatively, when you look at something older versus something more modern, like, yeah, you might say, oh, the technical aspects or the this or that, the script writing, the acting. But for what it was in its time, it was really good. It did something that wasn't being done before. Um, Case in point, uh, An American in Paris wasn't for me, but I really appreciate it. I respect it. This LA Confidential, I feel like I struggle with it because I look at what its peers were doing in that same time frame, and it's like, dude, y'all are just behind. Y- you put it perfectly. It seems like a movie that came out in the early '90s. That feels like that's what it should have been. When
Mhm.
you have Titanic, for God's sake, that came out like within months, and everything about it was just more sweeping, it was more emotional, it was more tense, it made me feel emotions that this movie didn't,
The
and I don't even
cinematography was better, the music was better.
yeah, and so it's hard to put these 2 movies
No,
like that.
Good Will Hunting is this year. Like,
Yeah,
the writing in Good Will Hunting is better, like,
mhm. It's hard to put
um
LA Confidential in the same category as those movies, let alone an all-time classic that makes, the top 100 films list or, whatever AFI is. I mean, I don't know. Just not
Yeah.
there. Not there
Not
for
yeah.
me.
Well, maybe we're just I'm with you. So
That's our unqualified take.
for sure. It is probably the most unqualified we've ever been. 'Cause,
Yeah.
yeah, we didn't I was like, this movie's fine. It's just a movie.
Yeah. And I will say, props to everybody out there that loves this movie. I'm not trying to take it from you. It was not my cup of tea. I don't think it was your
Yeah.
cup of tea. And
It
that's
was okay.
fine. I think that's the beauty of, everybody, we all have our own opinions. You like perfect. We will eventually talk about Starship Troopers and we're probably going to gush over it. And
Yeah.
everybody's going to be like, holy shit, what are you guys talking about? That movie was terrible. But, but we love it.
Exactly. Well, way to spoil next week's episode, but
Yeah. Oh, it's fine. Yeah, it'll be fine.
Any other final thoughts?
No, it was fun for what it was. It was just
Yeah,
I think it was
it's a good
overhyped for
time.
me. Yeah.
It was a good time. Yeah. Probably never watch it again, but it was good. All right. Well, like I said last time, we have a email address. So if anybody wants to send us any movie recommendations or, complain about how annoying we are or how many times I say the word like or how unqualified Justin is in his opinion on Bud White, totally,
Please let
totally send us an email. Our email address is popcornandpals@gmail.com, all spelled out, all lowercase. And then we also have a YouTube channel, Popcorn and Pals Pod. Yeah, so come check us out. We're trying to grow our 10, 15 people who have checked us out so far, so you can
we're
be one
trying
of
to
the
get
early adopters,
we're we're trying to get to the triple digits.
There's more people that are hosting this podcast than that listen to this podcast, but that's okay. Um, but anyways, everyone, thank you for listening, and of course, keep popping that popcorn.